Welcome each of you to Renew Recovery Community, for those that are here and for those of you who are online. We appreciate you being here. We thank you for tuning in each week as you come. We will try and will be a safe place for you to come and as we travel our road to recovery together. So I would ask you, what's keeping you from coming? It's a safe place where you're going to be supported and loved. We are kind of starting the whole new year over now tonight, and we'll get into that a little bit more later, but we want you to know what we're about. So for those of you who are here for the first time, or you haven't been here long, or for those of you who are just tuning in on Facebook Live for the first time, I want you to kind of know about what we do. So I'll tell you what our mission is, and our mission states like this. Our mission is to be a Christ-like fellowship where the lost, lonely, needy, hurting, and suffering people of our community will be accepted and can experience sustained recovery from brokenness and can renew through God's grace. As I said just a second ago, we're starting a brand new year when it comes to recovery, and we work through a series of 8 principles and 12 steps, and we've done that this past year. And we're going to start over again tonight and start over these. And our topic tonight, which I think is extremely important, and if you look at all the steps and all the principles, people are always saying, well, which one's the most important? Well, they're all important for a multitude of reasons, but I think this one affects every one of us, and it's denial. And the lesson tonight is going to be about denial. And I'm not meaning for it to be a downer by any stretch of the imagination. What I want it to be is kind of a wake-up call for us as we look at ourselves. And I think this, I started to do all of this lesson tonight, but the more I thought about it, the more I prayed about it, I think it's so important that I'm going to break it into two parts. So we're going to do part of it tonight. Now we're going to do the next part next week. Overcoming denial is probably the most important thing that we can do in recovery, and we have to do that or we can't move forward at all in our recovery. And I'm going to ask a series of questions, and then we'll go back. I don't want an answer on them right now, but we're going to try to answer those as we go along. And let's begin the whole thing by going, are you in denial? Now, don't speak out, but I want you to think about these. Are you in denial? And that could be about anything. Has any part of your life become unmanageable or out of control? Are we ignoring problems in our lives that are a direct result of any addictive behavior that we are doing in our lives? Are we letting parts of our past prevent us from becoming all that we were intended to become or all that we want to become? Are we afraid of change at all? And if so, why? And we're going to try a little bit as we go along tonight. We're going to try to answer a few of those things. But before we start, we always like to start. And I got the bunch from the other side of the county over here tonight. And I'm so happy that Hannah and Brandon are here with Katie and Daryl. So they came in from over toward Notchy Creek. And we're happy for you to be here. So come on up and lead us in some song.
Yeah.
Yeah, tour bus out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Our tour bus is a minivan. The song's called "God Is in the Story," and I got a short story real fast. Okay. So today I had a phone call at work and I have earbuds that I had to walk around the house with because my grandson's at our house today. And I'm not about to tell him to be quiet. He runs around, goes crazy. He's 2.5 years old. He's just like I am. And according to Ashley. And so anyway, I'm walking around trying to hear the call and get through it. Well, I take the earbuds out and the little plastic cover on thing falls down at my foot, bounces off my foot and runs up under my dresser. And I learned 2 things today. I learned number one, we haven't moved that dresser since we bought it. And number two, it's heavy, which is why we hadn't moved it, okay? So I crawled up under there and I looked up in there, and it occurred to me at some point in time I dropped a few things up under there, but I was in denial about going and getting them, and I couldn't this time. So I had to actually take and move the dresser. There was dust and dog hair. There was a pair of underwear. I don't know how it got up under there. There was 8 nickels. There was a 1968 wheat penny. I didn't even know those even existed, okay? I got all kinds of things in there. But I got the whole mess cleaned up, got everything set, got my earbud back, got the whole thing, got everything back in order. It occurred to me we hadn't done that in years. And whatever was up under there, we were in denial about. Okay, and I didn't even think about it till I got here, and I thought, that kind of fits what happened to me today. So I do want to thank Katie and Hannah and Brandon for coming back to be with us tonight. They do a great job singing. Y'all stand. The song's called God Is in the Story. They'll sing it. You've heard it on the radio. It's playing right now. If you know it, sing along with me.
I don't know about y'all, but it must have suddenly got cold in here because I had cold chills get all over me. Thank you. What a blessing it is. And let's start with a word of prayer. Father God, we just thank you for life. We thank you for Father, we thank you for being in our story. Because without you, we would not be. So, Father, I ask your Spirit to come upon us tonight, and the words that come out of my mouth be your words, Father. Guide us, lead us, and we'll give you the glory. Amen. I said earlier that we were going to talk a little bit about denial, and Daryl gave a great example of that, because in denial can be in every aspect of our life. We fail to realize that sometimes, that it is in every aspect of our life. And we deal with steps and principles, is what I told you earlier. And what I want us to do is we're looking at denial. We're going to start at principle 1 all over again this year. And principle 1 reads something like this: realize that we are not God. Admit that we are powerless to control our tendency to do the wrong things and that our life is unmanageable. Many times we learn by actually writing something down or saying it. Then it connects in our brain. And I see head shaking. Yes, I get that. So good. I'm glad you feel that way, because I want you to read that with me out loud. Realize I'm not God. Okay, let's start again. I want everybody to do it. Here we go. Realize I'm not God. I admit that I am powerless to control my tendency to do the wrong things and that my life is unmanageable. The biblical verse, and that's what I love about these principles and steps, that we always have a biblical comparison or a biblical verse to go along with that. And the biblical comparison or verse that goes along with that particular principle is that happy are those who know they are spiritually poor. When we are weak, when we know we're doing something wrong, then we are poor in the spirit at that point. And it's great when we know that, when we realize that. Because when we are in trouble or we know we're weak, that's when we start really reaching out to our higher power, to God Almighty, for help. We quit depending upon self at that point, because we've tried to be in control and we've tried to do it and it hasn't worked. So we finally get to that point where we go, okay, I can't do it anymore. I need help. And that's where it is. That's what we're talking about. Many of us think of recovery, and we've said this year a lot, so bear with me. Some of you who have been through this program already, we're going to repeat some things for those that are new, or for those of you at home that have not heard this before. So when I say the word recovery, so many people think it's just alcohol and drugs, but it's not. It's about so much more. And a lot of people that think about recovery, and this is where denial fits in. When we talk about recovery, or people start talking about it, they think, well, that's what somebody else needs. I don't need recovery. And that is like red flag. Okay, I'm in denial. Yeah. That's exactly it. If we think that it's for everybody else and not for us, that might be an indicator that you're in denial. There are a lot of things in this world that hold us back from being everything we need to be. And in Hebrews 12:1, it speaks to that. And it reads like this: since we have such a huge crowd of men of faith watching us from the grandstands, let us strip off anything that slows us down or holds us back, and especially those sins that wrap themselves so tightly around our feet and trip us up. And let us run with patience the particular race that God has set before us. Boy, there is a lot of meat on that bone, that we could unpack that and do lessons after lessons on that particular thing. And at the first part of that, since we have such a huge crowd of men of faith watching us from the grandstands, sometimes, and that's part of denial as well, is that we think nobody sees us. We're hiding everything that we're doing. Well, let me tell you, everybody watches. Everybody sees. We may not think they do, but people know, people see. And it tells us to strip off anything that slows us down. That's talking about all of our addictive behaviors, the things that trip us up and make us very unsuccessful. They are like that. If you've ever been out in the woods as you're running through, you get caught in a vine and it'll trip you. And that's kind of the way life is sometimes, some of the things. If we don't watch what we're doing, we'll get tripped up. The last part is really important in recovery because we're starting at step 1, principle 1. And there's 8 principles, 12 steps. And we think that, golly, we're starting tonight at 6:30. Surely by Friday we ought to be through this thing. And it doesn't work like that. It says, and let us run with patience. With patience. The particular race that God has set before us. Well, let me tell you, friends, recovery, you are here for a reason. I don't know your particular reason. I will never tell you I understand what you're going through. Most of it I can relate to, but I won't tell you I understand. But you're here for a reason. You've tuned in for a reason. You are come here for a reason. A particular reason. And it may be, I don't believe anything happens by coincidence. Somebody may have told you about this site. Somebody may have shared that with you. Somebody may have brought you here. You may have had a friend that have brought you here. But there's a reason that you're here. So I think it's very important that we make sure that we take time as we get through this. I think it's extremely important. This verse tells us that we need to get rid of those things in our life, whatever it is. And some of us have many that are holding us back or tripping us up. We try to be a scholar here sometimes. So I was doing my reading and my research this week. And the American Psychological Association defines denial as an involuntary defense mechanism. And that's what denial is. It's a defense mechanism. That's denial. We have used our addictive behavior as a defense mechanism. We thought it was a way for us to escape whatever was happening or had happened to us in our life. We didn't like what was going on, so we are in denial now about what we've been doing, that it doesn't cause any problem. Now, we're in denial. We may be in denial if we are. And denial is feelings, emotions, actions. And they include when we have negative things happen or unpleasant thoughts or feelings. And we may be in denial if we are minimizing. What's that look like? Well, we may act like ourselves or others are blowing things all out of proportion. And we tell them, oh, you're just making too much of that. It's not that big a deal. What I'm doing is not nearly that bad. Well, look at so-and-so. They're much worse than me. So we minimize what we're doing. Sometimes families or friends can minimize what you're doing or someone's doing. It also can, denial can look like we're rationalizing. That's when we say that it's okay for us to do what we're doing. And we'll kind of wrap this around that. Well, I've been really stressed, or I've worked real hard. And so I'm just doing this little bit right here just to help me get through it. We may even look at it as a reward for what we've been through or the hard work that we've done. The other is self-deception. This is when we try, and we do this a lot, when we try to convince ourselves or others that the things we're doing are really not that bad. You know, that and minimizing kind of go together. What I'm doing is not really that bad. And I hear that all the time, and I know you could give a lot of examples for that. Denial, as we said earlier, can be a way for us to protect ourselves. It's a form of self-protection. If we're in denial, that person that is in denial is really only just kidding themselves. This may come off as denial to loved ones. It may come off as denial to friends or family. But people know that we have a problem. We just don't admit it. Denial can become that defense mechanism when we are living life with people. When we're in our addictive behaviors, we try to isolate ourselves and move away from people because we don't want them to see what we're doing. And why do we do that? Because we become terrified. We are absolutely terrified of living life without whatever addictive behavior that we're doing at the time. But we need to remember, if we're exhibiting in our life by our actions or our words any aspect of denial, then that should be a caution to us that there are some problems in our life, or at least they're on their way. They're just right around the corner. If you're in denial, there's some problems coming. And we need to be careful with that. And how are we going to get over that? Well, we're going to own up to it. And that's going to help us to overcome it. And it's going to take some time. I found this picture, and that kind of spoke to me like, golly, denial is almost like a trap. And denial will hurt you, just like that trap will hurt you. And sometimes we get trapped in denial without even realizing that we are in denial. We say things so much sometimes that we begin to believe it. We live a lie. And that becomes our perception of reality. And that's not good. And we become satisfied with a short-term relief in our life. And that short-term relief may be drugs, it may be alcohol, it may be the sex, it may be the gambling, it may be the overeating, it may be the abuse, or whatever anyone other addictive behavior may be. And the bad thing about denial is we will try, and in our mind we do, find a justification for just about anything we do. We justify it in some form. And one of the sad parts that I have found as I've worked in recovery for a long time, one of the sad parts of being caught up in any kind of addiction and addiction denial is that we really believe that that's the best life that we can live, that that's all life has to offer, that it can't get any better. This is what it is, and it's not going to get any better for us in the future. We can't imagine life without these behaviors. So we just assume that living life without them is just not an option for us. Many of us go around like that. We put our heads in the sand. And denial is like that. We are hiding. We think that we are hiding from it. And the things that we are doing, we think nobody sees. We think we're so well hidden, nobody sees what's going on. But guess what? I see the part that's sticking up. And that's the worst part of what we do. That's the ugliness of addiction of any kind. Don't think we can hide from others because they do see it. Eventually, it will come out and they'll see it. But you know what? One thing we need to remember is because we think this is us. But this is really the way it is. There's a whole lot of people with their heads in the sand. And there's a whole lot of, we live in a whole world of actors. And this is what I say a lot about those of us in recovery. We should be in Hollywood because we are great actors. We can play a role like nobody. We present a story to somebody. And we tell them what we think they want to hear. And we get really, really good at that. We think we can hide. We think we can hide it, and we can't. sometimes it's not just us there, wherever you are, but the rest of those may be, who else is hiding? Well, it could be family. It could be friends. And why do they hide? Why are they in denial? Because they fear either you or them. Fear if they call you out on it, if they hold you accountable, they're going to alienate you, upset you, run you off. You're going to leave and not come back. And they're afraid they're going to make the problem worse. So they say nothing. And that's probably the worst thing they could actually do. This is what most of us do. Most of us are wearing some kind of mask. And most of those, it would take a crowbar or a jackhammer to pull off. Because, as I said before, we're playing a role. We're playing some kind of act. And that's our disguise. And we're trying to disguise our true feelings. But when we wear that mask, it becomes a real trap for us. We become the role that we're trying to play. Always. Maybe it's time, as we start this new year, no matter where you are, because some of you are just starting recovery. Some of you out there are just thinking about, I heard somebody talking about recovery. I may have a problem. You may even have tonight when I said, if you're one of the ones that say it's always somebody else, it's not me, they got a problem, I don't. Well, I can tell you real quickly how to know if you are one that has a problem and you're in denial. Go run to your bathroom real quick, look in the mirror, and the person you see will be the person who's probably in denial. Okay, so we're all broken. We're all in denial about something. So maybe it's that time, starting out this new year in recovery, no matter where you are. See, that's a point. I'm going to get back to that. But I just had a thought. No matter where you are in your recovery, because we're starting at principle 1 tonight, and it'll take us a whole year just about to get through the 12 steps. But it doesn't, hear this is a really important part of this. It doesn't matter at what step or principle you are. We need to always continually go back and recheck those self-checks, self-examinations, to look and see, are we being in denial about something? Because it happens. It happens often. So we need to constantly check. If we would remove that mask, at least pry it out a little bit, and let people see the real us, we've been afraid to do that for fear of what others would see. We may be surprised, however, of just how understanding, just how empathetic, and how much love others would give to us. But unfortunately, why do we wear the mask? Because we don't want to hear the truth. What was that movie? You can't handle the truth. That's kind of where we are. We want to hear what we want to hear. Tell me what I want to hear and tell me now. We don't want to hear the truth sometimes. And that's kind of what denial is all about, really. We hide from the truth. So let's remove the mask and just get real. Let's get real and keep it real. Let's let others see the real us. No matter how ugly, no matter how much hurt they're going to see, no matter how much shame that you have to show, no matter what you think it looks like. Because others will be. I promise you. There are others, and if you're hanging around those that scoff at you, that judge you, and all of that, you're hanging around the wrong people. You need to find better people. Because the people you want to be around are not the people that are going to go, oh, it's okay, you can do that. Just keep on doing that. No. That's not the kind of people you want to be around either, but you do want to be around people that are understanding, supportive, empathetic, and helpful. being helpful sometimes means that I started to say that was every once in a while kick you in the hind end. I guess I just said it. Hold you accountable. You need that too. And in recovery, call that tough love. Sometimes you need that. Those people who've been the hardest on me, I know care about me the most. Because they did it with love. They held me accountable with love. So as we go talking about denial, what I want to talk about tonight is some of the signs of denial. What does it look like? We may refuse to talk about the problem. That's a sign of denial that we won't talk about it. You know, when we do that, if we don't talk about it, it's like sticking your head in there. If we don't talk about it, it'll go away. It won't exist. Well, that's not really what happens, you know? If we refuse to discuss it, that may mean that we're in denial. If we find ways to justify our behavior, let me ask you this, are you always trying to find an excuse for what you're doing? Can you always find that excuse? Well, if you're always looking to make an excuse for the way you act or the things you do, then you may be in denial. Here's something that we do a lot. We blame other people or other outside forces for causing our problems. Never our fault. Lord help us. It wouldn't be our fault. It's always because somebody else did something or somebody else said something. So it's really easy to lay the blame on somebody else. When are we going to shoulder the load? When are we going to say, well, take ownership of our own part of the problem? We need to do that. We need to stop saying it's never my fault. What about we persist in a behavior even though it brings on negative consequences? How many of us just keep on doing it and we know what the result is going to be, but we do it anyway? We do the same things over and over, having a negative result, but that's kind of insanity, isn't it? We do the same things over and over and think we're going to get some different result. And it's not typically what's going to do. So no matter how bad it hurts, see, that's the bad part about addiction. We become so comfortable in chaos. That's where we live most of the time, in chaos. So much so that when things are starting to go, I know some of you have dealt with this in your life. When things start turning around and going really well for you, you'll screw it up on purpose. Just to get back to the chaos where you felt comfortable. Because when it goes well, I don't know how to deal with that. I do know how to deal with the chaos. So that's where I'll go back to. We live in those negative consequences. We may be in denial if we are always promising that I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to address that, or I'm going to take care of that in the future. You know, in a little while, I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to do this much longer. If we promise that we're going to get help in the future, knowing full well that we have no intention of doing it, we don't mean it when we say it. Are we in such denial that we can't quit even when we say we're going to quit? Or we'll say, oh, I can quit anytime I want to. I'm doing this, but I can stop anytime I want to. Well, that's a lie, and you're in denial. We avoid thinking about the problem. We just put it out of our mind. We think about if we don't think about it, it doesn't exist, it'll go away, it's going to magically somehow disappear if we don't think about it. That's our way of dealing with it a lot of times is we just don't think about it. We'll keep doing what we're doing, but we're not going to think about it. Now, that's taken us through, and I want you to think about those things, these signs of denial. Because I want us to get into this tonight a little bit, just a little bit. I want to give you an appetizer as such of, because so many of you, I want to ask you to show your hands because I knew both hands and both feet would go up there. If any of these you've experienced any of these or if you've done any of these. And if you have, then you're probably in denial. So there's some keys that I want you to remember tonight. Number one, no matter where you are in your recovery, you can be in denial on any step. And we have to go back and review. Even though, well, but I've already passed that. I'm on step 4. I'm making amends already. Well, yeah, but are you in denial about some of the things in 2 and 3? Are you in denial about some of the things you said you were going to do and you never did? Are you in denial that, hey, I'm still blaming others for where I'm at in my life, that I haven't gotten ahead? I didn't get that job because so-and-so did so-and-so. So we need to look at these and realize in our mind, are we guilty of these kinds of things? Now, as we go into next week, I'm going to talk about the effects of denial. We'll talk about the effects of denial, and it's not going to do us any good to recognize, are we in denial? What the effects of denial are, unless let's get to the good part. Well, how can I overcome it? How can I stop being in denial? We're going to talk about on that a little bit as well as we go along into the next week or so. So these are really important things. But I want our guys, our wonderful singers to come back up. And as we do, as they sing this song, which is, I love this song, and as they sing this other song, I want us to make a commitment. I want you to make a commitment to yourself and to those that love you so much. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. To break the chains of denial that are keeping us prisoner and stopping us from being the person that we want to be and that God intends for us to be. So you guys come on up.
Hey, Roger, go back one slide. Everything on that list, I made a kind of a joke about the dresser. Okay, that's exactly what we did for years. Never talked about it, didn't worry about it, out of sight, out of mind, until finally it became so urgent, important. I had to do something. Yeah, we've done that in our relationships at home. How many of y'all ever had a problem with a spouse or a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and you refuse to talk about it?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Okay. Walk around the house, you blame it's her fault, it's my fault, whatever. And then finally, when you sit down and actually talk about it, you find out that it's something you could have solved years ago. That's the best I've seen all day, Roger. Y'all, this song, they picked it. It's one of my favorites. And y'all have all heard it. You know it. Y'all stand, sing along with us as well. They do a beautiful job with it.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved.
thank you all for, boy, that got hot, woo! I want to thank you all for being here tonight, and I want to thank you for being online tonight. And I really hope that we're in our first principle, starting the whole new year in recovery. You can join in at any time. I hope that something was said tonight spoke to you, and you can relate to some of that and go, yeah, I've been there. I am there. And if you are not there and you haven't been there, if you say you haven't been there, that's denial. But I'm going to tell you, you will be there. Because we're going to all be in denial at some point in time. I hope that you will come back and be with us every week. We're here every Monday. No matter what the weather, no matter what the holiday, we're here. And we have a meal to start with where we have time to eat together and fellowship. So I would invite you, if you're online, you've never come, please come with us. I know we've got folks over in North Carolina and we've got folks in Texas watching, and we're so thankful for that. That means the world to us. Let us know, comment, let us know where you're watching from. If you have questions, please put those in the comments so that we can reach back out to you. I would ask you as a favor that if something that was said or is said on one of these programs means something to you, then share it on your Facebook. Share it with your friends so that they can watch. You can always go back on Renew Recovery Community where it says videos, hit more, goes down and hits video, and every one we've ever done is there for you to watch. So you can watch them over and over. If you didn't get it, take notes. And we appreciate that. Share it with somebody else. Like our page. So until next week, we love you, but God loves you so much more. Good night.